Consultation, I think, is one of the most important parts of the service. This is where we get to put together the blueprint and the whole idea of the look before we do anything. Remember, like, it's the pipeline of events, like I was teaching you guys on Monday. The cutting of the hair is the last thing that happens. There's so many things that have to happen in the pipeline before the hair falls off the head. And like we were saying, the foundation of the building is the most important thing. And even one step beyond, when we're talking about hair, I was showing you the pipeline of events from the feet all the way to the hands, and the room all the way to the hands, and the mind all the way to the hands. But the thing that precedes all of that is a great conversation, communication, consultation with the client. So I'm going to show you a process that I've been developing over the last few years. I feel like it's in its best form right now. It's like in its final form. And it was born out of basically frustration and not getting high quality results out of the traditional consultation techniques that we're taught. The first thing I don't necessarily agree with is like open-ended questions. Like, a lot of, we're taught like, oh, ask open questions. But it's in the words, what does open mean? Endless possibilities. Helpful or not helpful? Not very helpful. You know, if it's open and it's endless, is that going to get us there efficiently or inefficiently? Inefficiently. We don't want to take 25 different roads to get there or ask 25 different questions. So that was how the basis of it began. I was like, well, I'm sick of asking open-ended questions, and I'm tired of, and I think you can all agree here, raise your hand if you ever feel like this, you don't like people telling you how to do your job. Yeah, me too. Hate it. It's one of the complaints we get all the time. Barbers are like, oh, I hate it when my clients try and tell me how to cut their hair. I'm like, yeah, it's because of the types of questions you're asking. You're walking into that pain. If you say to someone, hey, what are we doing today? You're essentially saying, tell me what to do with your hair. It's not the words that I said, it's why they're said, right? So I really dug deep and thought I need to come up with a better system. Not just for me, but for the barbering industry at large. It does two things. It creates a beautiful co-creation, like I was saying with you guys, because just asking, oh, what are we doing with your hair today? Or tell me what you don't like about your hair, or whatever. It's like a shift. It's too much of a shifting of power and responsibility. It's more of a shifting of responsibility. We're putting so much responsibility on the client to know what's supposed to happen that it takes all the responsibility off us. But is that what a professional does? No. Think about it in car sales, right? I love this analogy because Owen's younger brother is a car salesman. He says the same thing. No one walks into that car garage and you say, hey, what car do you want? They're going to go, well, what cars have you got? And you go, well, I've got fucking loads of them. Like, I need to make a sale. You're going to have to tell me what car you want. It doesn't work like that, right? And I'm sure if you walked into the car garage, you'd be like, this guy's a dickhead. See you later. You wanted a Mercedes, but you go to Toyota because it probably got better service, all right? Barbers don't like to hear this, but we're in the game of sales more than we think. Before the game of sales, we're in the game of branding and marketing. So this is a Gary Vee thing. I love it. He says, if you have to sell someone on an idea when they're in your shop, like hardcore sell them, you haven't done your branding and marketing well enough. When you do your branding and marketing well, it sells itself. So that's kind of what this consultation system is. It's on the assumption that you've done your branding and marketing really well. This is like checkboxes on the top. So we can't ignore the branding and marketing. Off the back of this system, you have to be promoting, remember what I said? Marketing is magnetic. You have to be putting out the things that you want to get back so that people get to know you for that person, and they come to you for that type of work. If you have to oversell them on the idea, it's probably a branding and marketing issue. Or if they haven't come to you through your forms of marketing, they're just a random. But and that's kind of on them as well. It's 2024. It's partly the client's responsibility to do a bit of their own research. It's like if you go to a restaurant or you go to a clothing store or you go to like anywhere. Most of us do our research, don't we? Imagine this scenario. You went to the car yard. You were turned up at Mercedes. Owen's brother meets you at the door. Hey, buddy, come on in. Let's have a great conversation. So tell me a bit about your life. Like, what do you need the car for? oh, well, I do this and I do this and I do this. Immediately, he's going to ignore the 30 sports cars out the back. If you tell him, oh, yeah, I live in the country and I drive on dirt roads, I do this, he's going to be like, cool. In my head, he's already got 4 cars in the back of his mind waiting for you. That's what we want to do with haircuts. Why? Because it's not an open-ended question. It's a very poignant question that gets us closer to the result that we already know that needs to happen. Looking at Finn's hair today, I already know there's, judging on, we haven't even spoke about this, but if my assumptions are correct, and we're not going to go for transformation, there's only about 2 things that could probably happen here, right? There's nuance in the styling and little details, but there's probably really only a couple of approaches I can take with his hair today. If we go for a transformation, that's different, but that's going to come out in the consultation. I don't know yet. Who knows? We don't even know. So, but that's going to be cool, right? That's going to come out of the conversation. But imagine we're back to the car yard again. You go in, he's like, hey, so what do you need it for? What do you do? Oh, yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that. Yeah, I'd like to take the kids to the beach, blah, 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 blah. He's going to be thinking, well, you need something like this. You might need something a bit more 4-wheel drive, maybe something that's a bit bigger, blah, blah, blah. You're not just going to go, so which car is it? Like, and that's what I see in barbering. It's an open-ended question, you know? So what are we doing with your hair today? When really you could go, hey, what's the haircut for? What you got going on? Why do you need this? What's this doing? And that's the system that I built, because what it does is it allows me to delete all of the haircuts. I've been doing hair nearly 20 years. There's a lot of fucking haircuts in this head. I've done a lot of haircuts, right? There's a lot of possibilities. But I don't want that to be the case. That's not really a flex. Because if I can't control that stuff and compartmentalize it, it's not really a flex. It's like a chaotic mind, you know? So what I'm going to do is bring this thing down to a couple of options. So in our system, we call this the McDonald's theory. When you walk into McDonald's, they say, hey, what can I get you today? Or whatever it is, what's your order? But it's up to you to choose what you want. And you've got the whole menu to choose from. We kind of want to do the opposite in hair. We don't want to show them the whole menu. We just want to show them the things that we think they're going to need. Okay? Because this isn't McDonald's. This is very different. All right? McDonald's are just trying to make as much money as they can out of you, and they'll add add-ons and extras, and they have a completely different model. So we want to be as little like McDonald's as possible, and we want to be as little like the crack car salesman as possible. What's the switch we need to change? We need to turn pro. And pros do it differently. Okay? There's a difference between amateurs and pros. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to turn on a bit of a pro version of a consultation here. Cool. So to caveat the whole thing, this whole system is assumption-free and it's judgment-free, which is amazing. So another thing, what I used to get stuck with is assumption on, oh, maybe just everybody just wants this, you know? And that is one approach. You can do that if there's certain things that you just love doing, but also judgment. Me and Cam just had a beautiful conversation about God. What is God? God is all-encompassing and unconditional love, right? So what does that allow me to do? It allows me to facilitate an experience for the person through a lens of unconditional love. Now, I know that gets a bit soft and it gets a bit woo-woo, but I think that's what the world needs moving forward. The faster we can transmute to a place of unconditional love, the faster we can do fucking amazing things in this world, and people are going to feel better. Because we need to ask ourselves, is the way that we're doing it producing the results that we would rather have on a whole? Do you think things are going well? The world's never been better than it is right now in terms of like the shit we can get access to, but people's mental health, their actual physical health and their well-being is going way down. Men's suicide goes up every single year. I think women's suicide is probably not far off, you know? So the stats show, this isn't my opinion, by the way, this is the stats, right? And this is why I love this. This is why I bring this into it. This isn't my opinion, these are the stats. And like we were saying on day 2, the gratitude piece, you know, some people are so unaware of what's actually happening out there in the world. Their world is so insular that this is just not even a thought. So the thing to make this really easy for yourself, because that can be a bit overwhelming. It's like, oh, got to go save the world. No. There's a phrase that I love to use that says, think global and act local. So what I do is I look at the global kind of state of affairs, the state of the union. And what I've learned is by reading books, listening to podcasts, looking at the studies, if all these stats are getting worse on a global scale, what can I do at a local level that is my little thing towards that to hopefully then let the butterfly effect go? Because the butterfly effect of one person is about 400 people. This is why I love energy. Something that you guys learn and do after these three days has the potential to affect 400 people from this day forward. So think about that. You're not just responsible. You don't ever just responsible for your close environment. You could be responsible for so many environments outwardly as well, which is really, really cool. So I think globally, but act locally. And this is my opportunity to do a little bit of local work to hopefully have an effect on a global scale. And if this system alone changes the way men and women think, because this goes across the board for consultation, but we're in the barbering world, change the way they think about themselves, the story that they believe about what this is and how they can unconditionally love themselves, my work here is done. We're going to change the world pretty quickly. Just through a conversation, through a haircut. And this kind of ties a beautiful bow around all of our philosophies over the last 3 days. Hair, for me, is just the vehicle that I use to get to people. Because my deeper purpose at this point in life is to help people. Just cutting their hair for me is not, I can't help people enough just by cutting their hair. But it is my vehicle to get to them. And think about this, how many haircuts do you do on an average day? 10 to 15, most people. You've got 10 to 15 opportunities every day to get to someone directly. And it's so direct. We're dealing with the image, which is directly linked to the ego. And you have a moment to truly see yourself directly in the mirror. But most people don't see themselves. They want to cover themselves and create a mask, create an image, and create something else that hopefully the world will love because I don't unconditionally love myself. That's a fucking terrifying place to be in life. So this system does the opposite. It allows people to consciously choose their actions and their choices, to celebrate who the hell they are, and to actually be an empowered person in the world. And it leaves us feeling empowered as well. The stylist gets to be empowered, and the client gets to be empowered. And for me, there's nothing that really feels better than that. That's why I say I could be doing anything right now. It could be hair, it could be fitness, could be whatever it could be. But my thought processes and systems would probably be the same because I think through a lens of purpose. Anyway, that's enough about that. Enough about me and my purpose. But it is powerful, right? When you can really think this way, it allows you to get creative and start to create new systems. So before I get into the system, there's something that I always do. So you've seen me and Finn have had a little bit of conversation. We conversed, we welcomed him in. Just imagine it was a barbershop scenario. Welcome him in, do the formalities. Hey, you want a drink? Can I take your coat? All that good stuff. You guys are probably spot on with that. When we get into this conversation, it is a personal conversation. I don't know if any of you guys in here have been to therapy before, but a great therapist always asks for permission before they ask you a question. And if you haven't noticed that before, next time you do go to a therapist, just pay attention. They will always ask you first. When you're dealing with questions of the person and the ego, it's so important that you ask for permission. So before I do anything, I'd be like, hey, Finn, are you open to answering a few questions about your hair today? Yeah, fantastic. That's best case scenario. If they say no, you need something to be able to do there. You need to be able to pivot and think, what am I going to do now? That's when your branding and marketing comes back in. And I just automatically think, well, they've come to me for a reason, so they must trust the products that I put out. And I immediately switch to, cool, are you happy for me to do something that I think is going to look good on you today? And if they say no, again, well, we're back to answering questions. So they didn't mean what they first said. Because if they're not willing to let me do something that looks good, that I think looks good, they have to answer questions. So it's a quick one to go, oh, you're not going to do that? Happy for me to do this? No? Okay, you got to answer some questions then. So you could take them in that cycle really quick. But today, that's not the scenario. Finn's open to answering some questions, which is fantastic. So I'd love you to grab your pieces of paper. And I would love you to create, I'm just going to do this up here and I'll show you guys. So underneath this big line here, we're going to put another line. And we're just going to create 3 columns. So I'd just love you to, it's just basically like a bit of a table. There's only really like 3 areas I ever need to go to in a consultation to build a product. 3 columns, pretty easy. Again, take the word seriously, but also associate with everything, take it seriously, but then think about where does this fit into my world and how could I adapt it? That's what I'm really loving the next iterations of the Unlimited Consultation. I'm going to love to see how you guys adapt it and iterate it in your own world. You don't have to do it exactly like I do it. This just works for me, but it is a really cool thought framework. Cool. So the first column, I'd love you to write in the top, like, why and what. So this is going to make a lot of sense to you guys now about everything I've been speaking to you about the last 3 days. I love to go down the why framework, but even more important, a what framework of thought. So the what, we can kind of sum that up with the word motive. So when I first designed this, I really wanted to understand people's motive. What makes a decision happen that someone goes, I need a haircut. I'm interested in that. What's that? Because it's kind of strange, right? We all do it, but I don't know if we ever think, where does that come from? This is where we're digging into conscious choice. Is that something is that our life chosen for us, or are we choosing our life? Why'd you get a haircut? I can't remember a day I didn't have a haircut. My parents just started taking me to get my haircut. I didn't have a choice in the matter. And then I grew up and I was like, maybe people just get their haircut. Never ever questioned the thought of like, why do people actually do it? Why do they get their haircut? Because it's not essential for survival. You don't need a haircut to survive. You're going to be fine. Weird, right? Anyway, so Finn, if you're open to this, I would love to know a little bit from you about, number one, why did you get your haircut? That might be obvious, it might not be. And to go a little deeper, like what does it do for you and what does it serve like for you in your life? Like what's the function of a haircut for you?
For me, probably self-expression.
Nice. So what we're going to do here, guys, we're going to pick up on keywords. All right. So, and some of them are going to be, remember back to day one, they're going to be truths and absolute truths. Subjective truths and absolute truths. So some words, expression, we can all kind of understand what expression is, but there are going to be some words which I'm confused about when they get subjective. So the first one is expression. Nice. So self-expression. And the reason I ask this question is because I can guarantee that why people get their haircut 5 years ago compared to today and in 5 years' time is probably going to be different reasons. I didn't get my haircut as a 5-year-old for the same reason I got my haircut like 3 weeks ago. I just didn't. And it was different when I was 15, and it was different when I was 20, and it was different when I was 25, and it's different now. So this is really cool. And what this does, it engineers future into your client's world. So if they know and trust that you can keep up with their story, why on earth would they go to anybody else? Why would they? They'd be like, this is the dude. He just gets me like no one else does. So but it's important that we get the permission to do that because it's quite personal. Okay. So yeah, and anything more on that? Like why'd you get your haircut in this current day? And yeah, is there anything else that it does for you? Yeah, that allows you to express.
I guess there's a small part of functionality. I mean, it's not the most functional hair, but
for you, it might be, you know? Yeah. Okay, so the next word is functional. Awesome. Keep riffing on that one.
So
No, it's cool. It's cool. See, and this is cool. Do you know what's cool about this? Some people have never, ever been asked this. They've never thought about it. So the first time you do this, you might have to take a little bit of time. This whole system can be done very fast, by the way. Once it's oiled, you do it in about 2 minutes. But the first time it might take like 5 or 10. So yeah, if there's nothing else, that's cool.
I just enjoy this experience and getting my hair cut and learning new things.
Nice. I love that. So enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, that's really cool. And the reason I do this is like every single client gives me something different. Those words are always different. So I'll show you, I took a picture of the one I did last week. I don't know if you guys saw that black and white portrait I put up last week. I did it as an experiment in the shop. I said, guys, I did the haircut. I did a little portrait session and I was like, I'm going to post this for you guys. I was like, this is something I would post. And someone went, go on then. And I was like, all right, I'll put it out tonight. Put a little explanation about what was around it. And I took a photo of the consultation sheet so I can show you guys. When you've got the framework next to the haircut, you're like, fuck, that makes so much sense. And the dude, like, you should have seen him when he jumped out of the chair. He was like, oh, yeah. Like, there was like an energy about him, you know? So, because we delivered what he needed, which is really cool. And that's the thing as well. It's like giving someone what they need, not necessarily what they think they want, is powerful because they don't always coincide. How many times have you had a client in the chair that have said words at you, but in your head, you're like, that's not what you need. That's not what you mean. You're saying you don't want to put product in your hair, but you want this elegantly beautiful haircut. It's like, how does it make sense? You know, but you got no framework to dig around that. Cool. So we've got the whole motive of why Finn gets his haircut in this current day, because it could change. Functional in 5 years' time. Who knows what functional might look like in 5 years' time? You might have a skinhead in 5 years' time. Like, who knows, right? And that's why it's really cool. So what we're doing is we're facilitating the purpose of this haircut and the function of this haircut in this current day, which is amazing. So we've got expression. It allows him to express himself outwardly. It's functional.
Express yourself too.
Hey,
And you to express yourself as well.
beautiful, right? Dream client here. But dream client. And this is where I got to. Now, Finn cuts hair, all right? So he's in the industry. He gets it. He gets what we love to do here and what's going to make a really cool experience. My clients used to do this to me in the end. They realized that this was a two-way street. They realized that this was a co-creation, it wasn't just about them. It was really cool. In the end, I didn't even need to do consultations. They were like, do you think? And I'd be like, amazing. And we just go deep, like straight into like cool shit, talking about cool shit, you know? Nice. All right. So express, it's something functional already. I'm starting to think, nice. All right. Functional haircuts. We can get into that. And he loves the experience. Brilliant. Okay. And if I had more time, I could go, so what do you love about it? You know, what do you love about it? Oh, I love this, this. So the next column, so that's the first column. We got the motive. The next column is the story. Okay. So it's evident now that Finn wants to express himself, but I don't know what that expression is. So next I go into story. So with your look at the moment, is there a certain like vibe you're trying to give off, or is there a certain story you're trying to tell with your look? And not just about hair, head to toe. It's clear that he loves a certain type of fashion. I'm dealing with the person here from head to toe. That's why we're having a face-to-face conversation. There's no cape on. I'm not talking to him through the mirror. I really want to get a good energetic gauge of who he is as a person right now. Not the person I want him to be, not the person I think he might be. I'm really trying to get who is Finn right now and what does he need? And I can only get that by asking great questions and extracting that with the co-creation model. So what's the story? What are you trying to say with like outwardly with your look?
I don't know. It's a weird sensation. Like, it's just inside your head, your like vision for whatever it is you're going to wear or whatever it is you're going to look like. I don't know. I find that personally, it just kind of happens organically. I'm not sitting there on the internet going like, Baldo, okay.
Yeah.
I guess. So I find like sort of natural way of executing style is my sort of thing.
Brilliant. That was great. That's the word. Natural, right? What does that eliminate? Sharp, geometric, line up, fade. Whew. Don't even need to think about them. Gone. Imagine if you're the guy that can only do precision geometric haircuts and lineups. Kind of screwed now, aren't we? You know, so I love it. This all ties back really beautifully. So remember the method. Use your methods to get your results. Okay, this is like how to think, not what to think. Barbering isn't just straight lines and tight fades. I would just even erase the word barbering, which is cutting hair. That's what I love about it. You're doing it in the context of men's hair, but what you're really doing is using a method to get results. All right, cool. So I love that. So natural. So here's a little system, because natural could, I mean, it's pretty obvious what natural is. It's the same with me. I'm just like, cool. I just want something that I kind of think similarly about my hair. I want something functional. It's easy to do. It's just natural. It's long. It's got a long layer. I can tie it up, put a hat on. Brilliant. That works for me, right? So if I go into a barber and he starts trying to line up my hairline and take away my fluffy bits and, let me tie up your neck, it's not build a product for me, because that's not what I need. It's ignored the word natural. It's not natural, it's forced, right? So natural could be confusing. So if we have a confusing word, that's a subjective word, right? Because I'm sure if I asked everybody in here, you might have a slightly different spin on what natural is. So we have a framework called slow down for yellow lights, right? And most of you here probably drive a car. When you're driving a car, when you come up to a light, a traffic light, and it turns yellow, you got two options. Depending on your personality, one person will hammer it and fang it through the lights. One person will slow down and take the safer route. I don't want to push through the yellow light here because, again, what did I say at the start? It's void of assumption. I don't ever want to assume what natural means to Finn because we might have a different idea of what natural is. I don't know. So yeah, when you say natural, like what does that kind of look like to you? When you like see natural haircuts or when your hair's feeling it's like most natural, what does that kind of look like for you?
I think, to be more specific, maybe like that kind of 70s shag sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like sort of low maintenance, but
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, doesn't look like it's done, but it's kind of done, and then
Effortless kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Amazing. And that explains the haircut. It's brilliant, right? I love hair like that. Hair that's effortless, not forced. And you can see this is how this whole thing works. There's a reason it has to be shorter here because he wants it to be effortless. He doesn't want to be blow drying it up and getting all this volume and putting all this stuff in it. And it's like, yeah, if it can just sit in a nice shape and kind of look cool and natural and effortless and go with my vibe, brilliant. That's where my brain's going now. I'm like, cool. I'm starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I'm only thinking again, I'm back down to a couple of different methods. I'm not thinking about fades. I'm not thinking about lineups. I'm not thinking about clippers. I'm thinking about the tools now. There's only a couple of things I'm going to use. That's really, really cool. So we've got the motive is it helps him to express. It's got to be functional. I loves the experience. The story is natural, loves the 70s shag vibe, is low maintenance and effortless. Brilliant. So we've got the motive, we've got the story. You guys getting a good idea of where this is going now? Like, how good is this? Instead of going, so what do you want? I'd be like, it's a bit like, and we could be like throwing the responsibility to each other. He'd be like, oh, well, who's heard this before? Oh, yeah, you're the professional. I was thinking like you would know. It's like, what a fucking shite place to be in a conversation. It's like, yeah, duh. Like, but our clock's running, man. Like, you have to tell me like what you want. We got to do something, That's the conversation I've seen hundreds of times and I've had thousands of times because before I knew a better way, that's how I used to do it as well. So the last one is limitations. So you can just put like limits. So we've got the motive, we've got the story, and we've got the limits. Okay. So, and this is great. This is going to tie a really nice bow around the whole thing. And this is going to give me the final pieces of the puzzle that I need to execute the product that Finn is going to love today and something that he's going to need. So with your hair, it's like, is there any limits on like what we can do today with it? Anything that you want to keep? Things that definitely can't happen? Or
I don't know, maybe I'd like your advice on like the perimeter. I mean, I'm pretty keen to keep it, but I don't know if I'm whipping a dead horse, just rowing it, or like, well,
I think it looks sick.
but that's all I have limitations on. Otherwise, it's
referral. Brilliant. Cool. Is there anything around the fringe area that you love?
No, I cut it short, or it grows out, and then I'll cut it short again. And
yeah. But the main thing is the kind of external length, the perimeter. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So see how I'm not like dancing around it. You're gonna have to tell me. It's like in that moment, I have to take a bit of responsibility on this. And he gave me this permission. So he's like, you got to express you too. I've got two things on my mind. What would I love to see? And what's going to be useful for you guys? Okay? Because number one, what would I like to see goes twofold. It goes, what would I enjoy doing? But secondly, everyone's going to see Finn's hair after this. And I'm thinking my product is going to be walking these streets, lives in a cool place, lives near the beach. Like, people are going to be looking at it. And so I think, cool, what would I like to see and what is going to be the best representation of my work? And what's going to be useful for you guys? That's why I love the length. Why? Because I'm sure it'd be good for you guys to see how I connect something so short to something so long. Yeah? Right. And we can deal with that afterwards. Brilliant. So he's already said to me, around the face, he's cut it short, he's cut it long. Brilliant. We're going to have a bit of fun with it. Because of the words, natural, shag, all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to do anything harsh. Because if I go harsh, or forced, we're going against like what ideally he would love, and I love that too. Those are the types of haircuts I love. So limits, I would just put like the external edges, basically like not too short. And if he said that to me, it said, oh, just don't make the edges like too short, slow down for yellow lights, because what's too short? I don't know. I would go, so what's just too short look like to you? And he'd be like, oh, nothing past the collarbone. We're like, oh, brilliant. Instead of being like, oh, so what, you're gonna have to tell me. It's like, slow down. Okay, what does that look like to you? When you say too short, what do you mean? Oh, I just mean like this. Oh, brilliant, nice. I'm not asking him to tell me what to do. I'm just trying to extract the information. All right. So lastly, in limits, I ask about styling as well. This is huge. So I think it's really important to get a gauge on, number one, how the client likes to style it, how they currently do it, so that you can start to put together a bit of a formula on what you're going to recommend to them, if they could be doing it better, if there's things they don't have to do. But the big one where I start is time. So when you're styling your hair thin, like how much time do you spend on it, or how much time do you want to spend on it? That's the big one.
I mean, I guess I work in a salon, so it doesn't really, I guess it would be nice to just have like sort of 2 minutes of styling.
Nice. Yep.
The
2 minutes.
Yeah, it's easy to put a hat on, when it's a bit more than that.
Yep. Brilliant. So what do? I build him a haircut that only takes 2 minutes to style. And I only show him ways to do it that only takes 2 minutes to style. Yeah. For you guys, I might do a bit more blow drying today, just so we can really squeeze the juice out of the techniques, because I think there's some cool stuff I can show you in terms of this haircut. But that's how I do it in the shop, and that eliminates all the shit you don't need to think about. There is no point giving someone a haircut that takes 5 minutes to style if he only wants to take 2 minutes on it. You go, great, I got this one for you, or this one for you. This is the product you need. This is how you need to do it. And he's just gonna be like, great, great. So imagine that, right? I know why and what this serves in his life. I know the story he's trying to tell, and I know his limitations. I can build a haircut that he's gonna need. If you do that for your clients, they're gonna be like, this is a fucking wizard. Or witch. But we used to get that, like when we were at Area, they were like, I don't know how the fuck you guys do it. It just works every time. Walk out the shop, someone's like, whoa, yeah, it's amazing. But it's all of that stuff that we showed you over the last couple of days. With this, bulletproof. People probably never go anywhere else. Why would they? Where else are they going to get that? An expert at their craft, plus someone who understands them better than any other barber ever will. There's so much safety baked into that. And what have I done? I've engineered LTV, lifetime value, and future into this client's journey with me. If you're a business owner, my shop, which puts predictable income into the future of the business. Why is that? Because he can trust that as his story changes, I'm going to be able to facilitate that. And as long as he's alive, and as long as I'm cutting hair, I will probably be the person that he comes to. Yeah? So that's the whole thought process behind it. Instead of being, I'm the hardcore fade dude, and if you don't want the fade, you can't come to me. It's like, okay, well, you can do that, you can specialize, but you got to be fucking on it. Like your marketing and branding's got to be spot on, and you need an influx of those types of people. But if you want to do a nice mix of stuff, you want to really try and engineer future into those people's lives with you along the way. And again, like I said, nothing can be done in isolation. If you can go together, fantastic. The businesses that survive through this kind of current wave of the barbershop apocalypse, as I like to call it, are the ones that will take their clients on a journey with them, not against them. We're seeing a lot of barbers going against their clients right now. If you don't show up, I'm going to charge you. If you're late, there's a fee. Da, 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 da. It's like, all right, keep doing that. See how it works out for you. Because it's not safe. For a consumer to see that, when do you ever see Amazon doing that online to their clients? Imagine the shit Amazon have to put up with their clients. Returns, broken fucking things, this, that, the other. They're not airing their dirty laundry online. Woolworths, Coles, they're not talking about all their shit customers online. You know, it doesn't happen. They're there to do business. They're there to make you feel safe so that you want to buy with them. It's called buyer safety. You're playing to the psychology of the safety of the person. And that's really what I think like social media marketing is for. You're there to do business. You're not there to complain about your customers, you know? And even something so subtle as, hey, if you don't turn up, there's 100% fee. It's like, okay, but that's not creating buyer safety. Yeah, but there's other ways to do it. You can go internal for that. Put it in your policies, put it in your booking emails, put it in all those things. Say it in the chair. Hey, by the way, we've got a cancellation policy. There's so many safer ways to do that instead of just airing your dirty laundry online for everybody to see and taking no responsibility for the backlash. Use it wisely, because every next step that you take is people are forming the story of the brand and the person that they think that you are. And it's either going safe or unsafe. And if it's unsafe, they're probably not going to buy from you. If it's safe, they're probably going to buy from you. Amazing. Helpful? Useful? Yeah, nice. Couple of questions. Anything left unsaid? No. Question is that natural color, or have you got highlights in it?
Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
They're like old ones grown out, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's there anymore. Yeah, I think it's natural.
Yep. Sick. Bit of sun bleach. Love it. Again, why did I ask that? Remember what we spoke about, light and dark, expansion and contraction? Maybe I can use that to my advantage to create different looks and effects. It's going to affect how I cut his hair, you know? If there's certain expansion that I want around the face, does it make sense for me to cut all the lightness away? No. Because once the dark hair is revealed, it might contract it too much, and then he might look completely different. So I get to use those things to play to my advantage, which is really cool. And if I was a colorist, then I could take this even deeper. Oh, what are you loving about that? Oh, I love about this. Oh, I reckon it would look really cool if it was like refreshed. If we like take that back to the top and we do this, all of a sudden, you've taken them to a new place. They're like, holy shit, this person knows me better than I do. LTV, more predicted income into the business, engineer future. There's the maintenance of that. There's the upkeep. It's just a fucking flywheel, guys. This is like the business flywheel. Be the barber, not a barber in the area. I'm going to go through hair care. I'm going to take it to the basin. He's already said to me, loves the experience. So what am I going to do? Put a big focus on experience. And go, come with me, come to the basin, relax, have a nice time, you know? But if experience wasn't an issue, it's not for some people. They don't care. They're just like, just cut my hair. I don't care. You know, then I might not put as much on the experience, you know? Cool. And especially with longer hair like this, especially because it's been like, it's a bit sensitized in the ends. I want to make sure that I'm really caring, really caring for the hair. All right. You noticed I haven't touched the hair. That was the first time I touched the hair. I haven't asked him about techniques and lengths, and especially with your short hair clients, you'll notice that people stop telling you how to cut their hair. They stop telling you the high fade, low fade, this, high skin. It all goes out the window because you start building a product for them. And you get to choose. It's fucking brilliant. Awesome.